Today, I will be discussing the discrepancies of Medicare reimbursements throughout the United States in 2018, as it is when things were relatively normal before the COVID-19 outbreak. We are currently looking at a map of Medicare reimbursements for those enrolled in Plan A and B Medicare plans. It is important to note that these plans do not cover the cost of prescription drugs, so you can rule that out as a contributing factor. With the price being adjusted, it seems clear that there is a larger volume of healthcare consumption in the southern parts of the United States amongst the older population, and thus more Medicare reimbursements per individual, marked here by the large congregation of red. Specifically, we are going to be looking at Texas. The leading causes of illness and death among 65-year-olds and up in Texas are heart disease, cancer, and strokes, according to the Texas Department of Health. Moving along, we are viewing a map of hospitalizations due to heart disease. You'll notice that the two maps look pretty similar, with higher percentiles to the south. Here you see the same concentration, but with stroke hospitalizations. The main thing I want to point out here is the prevalence of these illnesses compared to another highly populated state such as California. This data seems to conclude that the older population who are eligible to receive Medicare in Texas are relatively unhealthy. This point is backed by the current map we are viewing that depicts participation in outdoor activities. This map from 2017 shows that people in Texas live more sedentary lifestyles relative to other states. These sedentary lifestyles can lead to obesity. The Center for Disease Control states that all these life-threatening, expensive illnesses that we are examining can be related to obesity. This map of obese elderly in the US again hammers home the idea that obesity could be what is causing higher Medicare reimbursements among the elderly. The rate of obese elderly in Texas is roughly 3% higher than the average in the US. A little more striking is comparing the obesity rates in females 65 years and older. Obesity can also be linked to falling, of which around a quarter of the elderly happen to face the challenge of. In a 2014 study done by the Australian and New Zealand Journal of Public Health, they found out that obese individuals had a 31% higher risk of having fallen, that older obese individuals have an increased risk of falls, and obese fallers have a higher prevalence of pain and inactivity than fallers of a healthy BMI. These falls can lead to more serious illnesses, but more importantly are costly when treatment is necessary, which happens to be about 40% of the time. This is a little bit older data, but still very telling in our quest to figure out why Medicare reimbursements are so high in Texas. It turns out that $1.6 billion worth of treatment for falls among the elderly is paid for by Medicare. I'm not sure that this data is price adjusted, which could be the reason why California is on the same tier, but I can only imagine that the cost of treatment for cancer is monumentally more. It is suggested by the data that the elderly in Texas are unhealthier than the elderly in other states. We can see this in the price-adjusted amount of Medicare reimbursements they are receiving. This discrepancy appears to be linked to treatments for heart disease, strokes, cancer, and falling, which could be the result of obesity.